folks. Noah Weiskopf. We're going to get into it, kind of the nitty gritty, talking about UNC football. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for Tar Heel 24/7. No, I want to ask you up front. We'll go backwards to go forwards. The end of the Cal game. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like without and obvious this is nothing crazy, but obviously without that fumble, they set themselves up to win the game. Win a game
Yes.
that nobody expected them to win a game that they traveled almost 3,000 miles
Yep.
and nobody expected them to win. It stinks, but I think that ultimately when you look back at that game, you're going to think the fumble, but I think the progress that we saw was more important than the outcome of that game. And Belichick has stood on that since day one.
Yes.
And he understands that the progress might not show results right away. He keeps mentioning Walsh, right? Like Bill Walsh and what he's done. But I just think that fumble is going to overshadow the game when in reality, we saw an offense that we had never seen before.
I agree. And they did show some incremental progress. What's your favorite part of the incremental progress that they've shown over the course of, I guess, what are we at, week 9 now? Week 8? Yeah.
Well, I'll go, I guess, really two things. One, the first half on third down, they were 1 of 8 on third down in the first half. Just putrid stuff that we'd seen before. Like this was the same Carolina football team we'd seen. The second half, they were 4 of 6 on third down. That is something we'd never seen. So if they can build on that, and again, they're not going to be 4 of 6 or even close to that percentage every game. But if they can hover around 50% on third down, even like that gives them a chance. They weren't giving themselves a chance when you go 1 of 8 on third down. And the other thing that I really realized in the second half is that Gio was going through his progressions. That is something that I think he struggled with a little bit as well. When he's moving, we know he's comfortable when he's out of the pocket, when he's moving around. He's not a pocket passer. But then again, when you look at him standing in the pocket, he's not eyeing one guy down and throwing it to him. He's moving through his progressions. He's moving his eyes from across the field and finding the open man. And that's something that even in the first half, he didn't do super well. I know one of the early plays, he had an open guy downfield that he missed and just took a check down. But I think that him moving through his progressions combined with the third downs, I think all that will help in the future.
I was going to ask more about Gio anyways, but you got to it. What about him running? Like truly, because I watch not just UNC, I watch everybody. And which is I like that. It's a delight for me because I get to watch other teams play. But they're going into these some people will call them wildcat. I see them as wing tees. Why not use Gio in that way? Is it because we have more of a pro staff than a college staff? But you see Vanderbilt, you see Michigan, you see these teams working out of some wing tee where I think it could benefit Gio. Do you think that him being on the move and on the run could not only open up the passing game, but also open up our running game?
Without question. He's not your prototype. He's not Max Johnson. He's not your prototypical taller pocket passer quarterback. That's not him. And so the staff needs to realize moving forward how he plays best. And he plays best when he's on the run, maybe doing a play action, right? Scrambling to his left, throw on the run. And even after the Charlotte game, that's something that he did a lot, especially when the offense was struggling. He would look to take off more and more. And I think that's an added, I guess, dimension of the offense that makes defenses more unbalanced. And so I asked Bill Belichick after that Charlotte game, I said, do you like Gio running and taking these hits? And he more so mentioned the fact that he trusts Gio and when to take a hit versus when to slide, right? Like if you need 2 yards for a first down, then of course we want him to take the hit and get the first down. But if it's 1st and 10, he runs for 6 yards, we want him sliding and not, getting hit for an extra yard. I think that is also a big deal when it comes to Gio running. He's not a big dude. He's not the biggest quarterback. So I think that's really important too if he does start to run more. But yes, ultimately that will open up the offense even more than finding Kobe Paysour now and Jordan Shipp having 2 dynamic receivers who have sort of come out of their shell this season that we've seen produce at a high level. So I think that the running game with Ben Hall combined with Kobe Paysour's emergence and Jordan Shipp still there, I think that if Gio can start taking off more and gain and pick up 5 or 6 yards on his scrambles, it'll make the offense that much better.
So in my mind, I play defensive back. So in my mind, that means that the safeties are going to have to come up. The linebackers are going to have to pay attention to Gio if he starts moving.
Yep.
Does that make Paysour and Shipp more of a volatility, is that a word? Does it make them more viable if they can find ways to stretch the defense once they get hugged up to the line of scrimmage?
Definitely, without a doubt. And like even if one of the linebackers has to spy Geo, right? Like
Yeah.
that immediately opens up the rest of the field. It's
The
automatically
middle
right.
of the field gets opened up.
Correct. And where is Jordan Shipp? Where has he been most dynamic as a player at UNC?
On a skinny.
Right over the middle of the field, picking up 8 yards for a first down.
Digs and skinnies.
I'm not saying that he can't be a burner downfield. If they want to take a shot to Jordan Shipp, he can make the play downfield. But I think he's best when he's running over the middle of the field and picking up first downs. He can be an 8 to 10 reception guy for 90 yards, right? Without a score even. And if he can pick up 4 or 5 first downs, he's very useful in that sense. And then if you have Kobe as well on the opposite side of him, I think it opens up the offense completely.
I love that. That's it. This is why we talk to Noah, because he has that's astute analysis. I will say that. I'm giving this to you right now, your flowers, in real time, because that's a great point. Last thing, UVA is a problem and has been since the days of George Welsh. I don't know if you saw what I sent into the staff picks, but this goes this is like a 30-year issue. So going into this game, what do you expect?
I expect progress. I think that's the biggest thing. And if you can't expect progress from this team and what we've seen before versus what we saw at Cal, expecting them to continue to improve, if they stay stagnant and if they have another first half where they're 1 of 8 on third down, I think that's a big problem. Right. Like it can't get worse than some of the numbers they've put up the first 4 or 5 games. So I think now you're looking for progress. You're looking for things that worked that UNC can build on. Things that didn't work, they need to be thrown out. If something didn't work against Cal, and if they kept it in the playbook from the first 4 games, it needs to be thrown out because obviously it's not going to work, right? So I want to
let me ask you, because there's one thing in my notebook that I consistently feel about. Why are they still playing man coverage?
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe with Thaddeus Dixon, that's something that they wanted to continue to get used to, right? Thad is a phenomenal player, potential NFL guy. Man coverage.
One guy.
Yes, correct. So what I think now that Thad is going to be out at least for an extended period of time, we don't know exactly the timeline of that. Mm-hmm. That zone needs to be implemented more. They need to play zone to be able to produce more consistently, to get off the field. I want to see them blitz. I want to see them take more chances. You can even dial up a zone blitz, I think would probably be the best bet for this team. But yeah, I think
I'd love to see them run a zone dog.
I think that's what's needed, and for them to be able to play zone in the secondary, because with this 4-man pressure, they really haven't gotten much pressure all year. As a collective, there really hasn't been pressure. So you got to dial up pressure then. You can't play and sit back, especially a man coverage with 4 guys blitzing and you're still getting beat. You need to dial up blitzes. You need to take chances. And that's the thing is if you're going to give up a first down on 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 6 or whatever it is, defensively, it better be when you're taking a risk. It can't be sitting back and just letting them pick you apart with no pressure on the quarterback. And that's going to be even more key against Virginia.
Yeah, totally agree. We're going to see what the Wahoos bring to the table. At least the game's not in Charlottesville, is what I'll say. Noah Weiskopf, folks, that's the show. Peace out.